Do not fret, do not fret. Wrestling therapy is still here. I am back. I am Osuji, and I am back here with John. John, what is up?
What's going on, man? It's been a week or two, but I hope you're doing
Thank you.
well.
Yeah, trying, try to keep head above water. Um,
Yeah, that's pretty much all we can do it sometimes.
and yeah. Sometimes we have to take a step away and reevaluate ourselves or situations and hope for the best.
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
Yeah. So since we talked last, a lot of different things have happened. One of the major things is we've had Seth Rollins removed from the Vision and potentially could be out a significant amount of time, which will drastically alter the world title scene. What are your thoughts on the recent events with the Vision?
So I think that it could go one of two ways. Number one, Seth is really hurt, like legit. This is a legit thing, and Braun and Bronson turning on him is a way to take him off of TV, and they have to vacate the title. Then they have Punk versus whoever at the Saturday night's main event because Punk was already announced, or Punk won the number one contendership. So I think he was getting a title match at Saturday night's main event against the champion. So they're either going to do Rollins will have to vacate the title and Punk versus somebody else, or what they're going to do is Rollins in the end. Rollins again isn't hurt like the SummerSlam one, but this is all just a ruse to get Punk to let his guard down, and Rollins and the Bronze are still working together.
Um, I don't see that being a thing because it doesn't benefit Rollins to get beat up like with the briefcase. It made sense because he had the briefcase and the element of surprise, but now he doesn't have a briefcase. I think he is actually hurt because that match with Cody when he did that coast to coast headbutt, he landed pretty bad on his shoulder.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
Hopefully he's
and I
okay, but
yeah I do think that this is a legit injury, but it would just be another way for them to kind of have the Rollins sticking it to Punk type thing.
yeah, the only reason why I push against it because they could have done that without beating him down. They could have
Yep.
gotten
Yeah, I
they could have
hear
gotten
you.
into like an argument, and that would have probably fueled it a little bit more for me. But I do think he's hurt, and that which is unfortunate. I asked
Yeah. Rollins.
I asked my last guest this. Speaking with Shaw, I'm going to ask you the same question. When you watch wrestling, what is it that you look for that makes you enjoy it? Is it storylines? Is it match quality? What is it about wrestling that makes you like, okay, I like this match?
So I think it can be a combination of both. I think what I like with AEW is the match quality. Like the matches, I find are a lot better quality, especially right now in AEW than they are in WWE. That's my thought process. And I've always found that storyline building, WWE has always been way ahead, and match quality wise, AEW's been ahead. Now, AEW's done some good jobs in the last little bit storyline wise, but I still feel like WWE has a slight edge storyline wise but AEW has a much bigger edge match quality wise.
Okay, that's an interesting assessment. Who do you think has the better production?
Overall, I think the better shows are AEW shows, especially the last couple of pay-per-views. I don't think it's even close. Like they gave WrestlePalooza like a D minus grade or whatever that from ESPN or whatever. And All Out, I know I was there live, so I'm probably a little biased with it. But I would have said All Out was probably a B plus to an A pay per view easily. Like the whole night, I don't. There were maybe one or two bad matches, but over the night, I feel like everything was done so well with All Out.
What did you think of Crown Jewel?
Match quality was great on Crown Jewel. Like I thought the back and forths were great. I think the best match of the night was the Styles and Cena. And like even the storylines there with the Cena paying tribute to Styles before the match with the announcer, and then all the finishers that they had, like all the paying tribute to all the other wrestlers by using their finishers.
Yeah, I think that was definitely my favorite match. Um, Speaking of that, before we get into AEW's Wrestle Dream, I have another question for you. I asked my friend this the other day. What are your three favorite matches from this year? Could be any
That's
company.
okay. Number that is. Let me just think for a second here. Um, at number three, I'm actually gonna put the triple threat from All Out with Kanosuke, Takeshita, Kazuchika Okada, and Dorado. I think it was. Or that triple threat match was great. Like a lot of back and forth. There was a lot of surprises. Um, right now in actually all of these matches happen, or the two of them happen fairly recently, because I would maybe put John Cena and AJ Styles up to maybe that number two match for this year. But I think the number one match of this year, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Kyle Fletcher versus Will Ospreay at, I think it was Revolution, the cage match. The cage match between the two of them was just amazing. Like the whole storyline between the two of them. They had three or four matches this year or whatever. I think it was this year that match. The Yeah, it was. It was early this year, the cage match.
Okay, interesting matches. It's something always to think about, especially as the year progresses, because we always see different matches. Like for me, one of mine was from TNA. It was Javon Evans versus Leon Slater for the X Division title at Battle for Glory.
Just this
Hmm.
last weekend.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was that, yeah, I
great
love that
match.
match. I'm trying to get more into TNA, but yeah, okay. Speaking of TNA, but not really TNA, AEW has Wrestle Dream this weekend, which I was completely unaware of. And thank you for the reminder.
You're very welcome.
So one of the matches I see that we have is a rematch from the previous pay-per-view, Darby Allin versus Moxley, and that is an I Quit match.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Thoughts and predictions.
So Moxley won the casket match at All Out, which I was a little bit surprised with. But I think what's going to happen here I think that Darby is gonna find a way to get the win. Darby is one of those people that is just always fighting. He's always like he doesn't give up. He doesn't. If Moxley somehow makes Darby quit, that puts Moxley on a bigger pedestal, and I honestly don't think he needs that. I don't think Moxley needs to be on the bigger pedestal right now. I think that Darby has lost a lot of big matches recently, and I think it's time that they give him a victory in one of these bigger matches. Um, Darby is so over with the crowd. The crowd loves him, but like he doesn't seem to win many pay-per-view matches.
If Darby was to win this match, how do you end this rivalry? Because you've already done a casket, you've done a cage match of some sort. I believe it was at the previous pay per view that they were in. It was I think it was like him and
Oh, he was in the
the
yeah, yeah,
Osprey
yeah.
and
He was in the
yeah.
blood yeah, yeah. He was in that one. Yep.
How do you end this feud?
Okay. So the way I would book this feud is quite simple. After the match, like you have it as 1-1 after this pay-per-view. So you have to have a third match to end this feud, to end this rivalry between Moxley and Darby. And what I think you do, you have Hangman Adam Page come out and kind of talk about Mox and Darby and the feud that's been going on. I think you have Hangman put out a challenge to whoever wins this third match between Mox and Darby. So you have something big on the line where you have the number one contendership for the world title on the line in this match versus or this Moxley versus Darby. And I think what you really have to do is like a last man standing match or something like that. Literally, you cannot get up, like you cannot get to your feet. And I think that's the way that you end it. The way I would book it, I would have Moxley lose a last man standing match to Darby. But again, that's me. I like Darby.
What was that match? It was it was a few years ago. What is it was the exploding ring match where the ring was supposed to like explode, but it really didn't. It was like a dud. I
Yep,
can't remember that
yep.
match, but do you think that could be one of the final
I
matches?
think it would be kind of cool. Yeah. So, like, I think I remember that because that actually involved Moxley. I think it was Omega versus Moxley or something, and Eddie Kingston ended up coming down at the end
Mm-hmm.
to try to save Moxley or something, and the thing exploded, and it was something along those lines.
Okay. I believe we also have Tony Storm getting her rematch against Chris Statlander for the AEW Women's World Championship. What are your thoughts on her short reign so far?
So I like Stat's reign so far. I like the storyline between Stat and Tony. There's like a mutual respect storyline. I like that. But here's the thing that I don't really like about it. AEW is turning Tony Storm into the Charlotte Flair of WWE, where she's won like Charlotte's won like 14 women's titles or whatever now. Tony Storm already has the record with winning the world title 4 times. Does she really need to end Statlander's run after 1 month and win it for a fifth time? And my answer to that is absolutely not. I think that Statlander has earned a longer run than 1 month with this title.
Okay. So it looks like you're picking Statlander to retain this in this match.
Yes, it is. It is. That's my take
Okay.
on it. I'm a little surprised right now we don't see a Mercedes Monet match as of yet, but that could change tonight or on Friday. But as of right now, Mercedes doesn't have a match at the pay-per-view.
And she doesn't need to be at every pay-per-view.
No, and apparently right now, I mean, she's got now 10 titles in total in all
Wow.
companies. And she apparently has a match for like a Canadian championship or something on the night after Wrestledream. So she has a chance to win an 11th title.
That would break the record, wouldn't it?
I think Ultimo Dragon's record is 11, so it might
Okay.
tie the record. But I'm just going to say this. I've never been a big Sasha Banks fan. I'm not a Mercedes Monet fan. I never have been. And I think that right now, it's like Solo Sokoa would say, 4 letters, one word. Stop.
Fair. Monet is one of those people I've realized the us in the wrestling community, a lot of them like to protect her. Like people's like slander against her is like the end of the world for some people. I I would not take anything away from her in-ring ability because I do believe she is a very talented wrestler. Do I believe she should have that many titles? No, because I feel like at this point they're just giving her titles just to give her a title. But hey, whatever helps that company, sure.
Yeah, right now I think it's the marketability is the thing. The companies are like, hey, that's a big name. Let's give her our title. And
I mean,
it's
it makes
yeah.
sense. I mean, if you're trying to grow a company, you know, Mercedes Renee is the name people know, and yeah, I mean, if you have a rocket ship attached to her, I mean, is she going to represent your company outside of that? Probably not. But just her name attached to your title is good. Oh,
Yeah. And I think what they're also trying to do is, as much as I don't like her as TBS champion, and I think it's time that someone took that title from her, I've said that for quite a while now. I think what they're trying to do is erase the Jade Cargill TBS championship longest reign record. I think they're just trying to remove that as from the longest reign.
that WWE does that too, so it makes I get it. You want somebody that's there to have that record, and that makes sense. Um, Next I believe we have Hangman Adam Page defending against Samoa Joe. How did this match come about, and what do you think about it?
So for me, I'm surprised. Yes, I thought, okay, what are they gonna do next? Like, who are they gonna do next with Hangman? I thought maybe they'll do the thing, oh, MJF still has his contract, let's do it. Like, MJF can cash in that contract anytime he wants. But MJF has decided to take a little bit of a break because he's not booked this weekend either, right now for the pay per view. And he's been off TV a couple of weeks. It's an interesting way that they did it because they had Joe and Hangman on the same team in a trios match a couple of weeks ago. And what happened is kind of after the victory, Joe saw the world title, picked up the world title, went to hand it to Hangman, and then just kind of pulled away and was staring at the world title himself. And then Hangman took exception to that and kind of built it from there. Um, Joe or Hangman said like he owed Joe some, like, he respects what Joe does. He owed Joe because Joe helped him when in that title match against Moxley when the Ops came out, everything like that. Um, but he also felt like Samoa Joe could never beat him, and Joe's never beaten Hangman, and he felt like this was a time where, yes, he owed Joe something, so he gave him the shot, but he wanted Joe to prove to him that he was good enough, that type of thing.
Okay. Are you looking forward to this match?
I think it'll be a good match. Hangman and Joe. I mean, I think it's gonna be it's not gonna be like the Hangman Adam Page versus Kyle Fletcher match that we saw at All Out, where it was just back and forth, like for 40 minutes or whatever. I think it's gonna be more like a 15, 20-minute match. Um, Kind of a slow, methodical match in a way, because that's kind of the way Joe wrestles. He's not like a fast, high impact type person. He's more of a slow, beat you down, methodical type. And in the end, I do think Hangman does retain over Samoa Joe.
Okay. I believe we have the Bucks versus the returning Jurassic Express.
So this, I like this storyline. I mean, I can tell you that I've been to a lot of wrestling events, but that pop with Jack Perry and Luchasaurus reuniting, like that arena was cheering for probably about 5 to 6 minutes straight. They cheered when Perry showed up to try to confront the Bucks. They cheered when Luchasaurus showed up. They cheered when the two of them were hugging, and then everybody was singing along to Tarzan Boy, and like Jack Perry and Luchasaurus are very over right now with the crowd. Perry and Luchasaurus are very much the baby faces, and the Bucks are very much the heels. I think this is an opportunity for the Bucks to kind of take. I know they've been taking some losses recently, but I think this is an opportunity for the Bucks to take another loss to a team that's just gotten back together and looking to build momentum in the Jurassic Express.
So far, this seems like a very easy pay-per-view to predict. Would you say? Yes.
I would say so. I like looking at this the way I would book it. I think it seems very straightforward when I'm looking at it. Um, one of the things one of the things with All Out was there were a couple of matches where I was like, okay, I really want this person to win. Now I know that they didn't with All Out. They put out some matches where it was kind of like, oh wow, I'm surprised. Like I had Monet losing that title to Riho, and that didn't happen. I did have Statlander winning the title at All Out as a surprise, but um, they did some other things, like they gave the Ricochet and the Gates of Agony, or now as they're known, the Demand, the win over the Hurt Syndicate, and now this week they're gonna do the rematch. So it'll be interesting to see whether they give Ricochet and Gates of Agony 2 straight wins over the Hurt Syndicate on pay per view, because the Hurt Syndicate beat them on Dynamite last week, I think it was. So basically, in the last month, they're 1-1 in trios matches.
Okay. Okay. Do you think that might lead to a trios title opportunity?
It might, but we'll have to wait and see. There is a trios match. I believe it's a yeah. There's a trios title match tonight on Dynamite, I believe, or I believe. It's the offs up against LFI. So it's like Roosh, Sammy Guevara, and whoever the third one is. I forget who the third person is, but it's that trio.
Okay. What else do we have on tap for Wrestle Dream?
So they've got, unless I read this wrong, they've got a women's match, a one-on-one women's match between Tekla and Jamie Hayter. The feud has been building for a while, but unless I read this wrong, this is the first one-on-one women's match without a um, without a stipulation or a title involved since 2022, unless I read it wrong. The first women's match one-on-one on pay-per-view without a title or stipulation involved.
It's a long time to have a women's match that didn't have a stipulation or a title match. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is. But I think that these two have earned it. Like they're both very good wrestlers, and this feud has earned some pay-per-view time. That Tekla and Hayter, it's been a great feud because they were in that fatal four-way with Tony Storm and Chris Statlander at the last pay-per-view.
Who do you think walks out the winner?
Um, they've been pushing Tekla a lot, but um, my heart says Jamie Hayter. I like Jamie Hayter, but my head kind of says Tekla. So it's kind of right now. It's which one do I really want to trust
Well,
more?
that's the answer we're seeking, sir. Which one?
Uh, um, I think they're gonna give it to. I think there may be some shenanigans, but I think they're gonna give it to Tekla.
Okay, okay. See, we gotta make we gotta make the hard decisions here on this podcast, sir. Gotta make the hard decisions. What else we got on tap for Wrestle Dream?
We have Kyle Fletcher defending his TNT title against Mark Briscoe.
I could probably guess that Mark Briscoe is not going to walk out champion against Kyle Fletcher.
That's my take on it. Yes, I know there's a lot of Mark Briscoe fans out there. Briscoe's got some momentum. Like he had that tables and tax match that he won against MJF at All Out. So he's been gaining some momentum. I think that Mark Briscoe and Kyle Fletcher, it could be match of the night, depending on some things, because I know that Kyle Fletcher puts on a great match every time he's out there. Briscoe's a little more of a rough and tumble type wrestler. Fletcher's more like a well-rounded wrestler. But depending on how this goes, this could very well be match of the night, but I do have Kyle Fletcher retaining.
Huh? Is that all the matches?
And I think the last one was Brodito against Konosuke Takeshita and Kazuchika Okada.
Ah, okay. Who do you think walks out the winner?
And that's an interesting one, honestly. They could go either way with this one. Because they can have Brodito keep their momentum and keep their tag titles, or they can have Takeshita finally doing the turn on the Don Callis family, turning on Okada. So they can that would be the same kind of as Brodito walking out with the titles. Or you could have the Takeshita and Okada actually end up working well together, and they end up taking the titles and bringing more gold back to the Don Callis family. In my opinion, I think that they need to break Takeshita away from the Don Callis family. So I think that this is where you see Okada and Takeshita just finally have enough of one another and just kind of Takeshita turns on the Don Callis family and Brodito retains.
Okay. All right. Um, Question. Who do you think has the better theme songs? AEW or WWE?
Both are great. Right now, my favorite wrestling theme songs are in AEW, but I think that WWE does a lot of great songs too. If I had to pick a top five right now out of theme songs, I would probably have Randy Orton's Voices at number five.
Yeah, voices in my head. Yeah.
Yep. I would probably then put Swerve Strickland Big
Yeah, that's a
Pressure.
great one. That's a good one.
That's yep. At number three, I would probably put right now. I really love Jurassic Express. Like I love Tarzan Boy the song, so I love the way it works with them, and I love the crowd involvement. Number two, I would probably put Kingdom right now because
Whoa!
just I love. Well, yeah, I love the song. And number one, although you're not going to hear it for almost a year, I do not think that there's a better theme song than Elevated Will Ospreay's theme right now. I do not think there's a better wrestling theme than that.
I think one of my favorite ones is has been MJF's. I really
Yep,
I liked when they did the him and Adam Cole together. I was like, oh, I fuck with that.
yeah,
Yeah, I fuck with that.
yeah. But I mean, I guess the way, as you can tell, the way I like my theme songs too is like the audience involvement. Like if they're getting the crowd involved with the singing along and the chanting along and things like that, those are the things that kind of get my
Well,
attention.
you also got Jey Uso. Jey Uso is very crowd involved.
Yeet.
Please hit my music. Ah. All right.
Four letters,
Uh,
one word.
uh,
Stop.
uh.
Stop.
Before we wrap up here, I'm going to ask you, we'll play one final game, but before we end, I want to say if anybody would like to be a guest on the Wrestling Therapy, please feel free to contact me on the Facebook, the YouTube, TikTok, whatever. YouTube is Wrestling Therapy. TikTok is, I believe it's the same, or it's my name, one of those two, either or. But I am going to give you 5 people.
I think something cut out there for a second.
Okay, that'd be all right. I am going to give you 5 people, and you are to give me an opinion on these 5 people. Are you ready?
All right. Yes, sir.
Javon Evans,
The future. I like at 22 or whatever he is right now, I cannot see anything except great things for Javon Evans. Um, I see him as a future. Do I see him as a future world champion? Maybe not, but I could see him as a intercontinental champion, North American champion. If they brought back something like a cruiserweight division, that type of champion, that is what I see for Javon Evans.
okay. Maxine Dupree,
Um, okay, improved. She is very much improved from where she was to that match against Becky last week on Raw. She she looked so much better in that match against Becky than she has in any other matches that she's had before. She's been working with Natalia and Tyson Kidd, and that really shows. I think that she is improving. She still has a long way to go, but I think she's getting better.
Zarya.
Interesting. I like the character, but I feel like right now she's a fish out of water. The Zarya and Sol Ruka thing, it's working okay as a team, but they need to find something to separate her from that. Because right now she's in Sol's shadow, as far as I'm concerned. Sol is the face of that team. Zarya is kind of the Marty Jannetty of the team. And I think you need to find a way to push her more often.
Yeah, they do have an interesting dynamic with each other. I must say that. Wheeler Yuta.
Very good technical wrestler. He's very well trained. He's good in the ring, but like they're not using him. He's very underutilized as well. I think he can have a really good match with like a Darby Allen or a whatever. But right now, I think Yuta's kind of lost in the shuffle with some of the Death Riders stuff.
Yeah, that sometimes star power can tend to overshadow the the rise of other talents sometimes. And the last one we are going to do, let's say, Kairi Sane.
Another one that's kind of in the shadow right now of Asuka. Kairi is a great wrestler, but right now they seem to be focusing on Asuka. They seem to have Kairi being like in a way she was almost like confused, like what do I do? Who do I help? Do I help Io? Do I stay with Asuka? What do I do? And in a way I think that Kairi and Asuka as the Kabuki Warriors have always kind of been a tag team, but I think that they need to let Kairi Sane spread her wings a little bit. She was good as that pirate princess stuff from NXT when she first came up, but she hasn't really done much since.
According to Wade Barrett, it's Asuka. According to Wade Barrett.
Oh my.
Look, some people don't like Booker T. I love Booker T on commentary. Booker T on commentary is extremely entertaining to me. He just makes me laugh. Some people hate
Yeah.
him. Some people hate him.
I used to love the Stephanie Vector stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, Booker T is great. Booker T is great in my opinion.
Ah, yeah.
What do you think of before we wrap up? What do you think of Trick Williams dropping the TNA title to Santana?
I think it was the right call. Trick, I think Trick has done everything he can in NXT. I think that Trick is on his way up to the main roster. Now, when they do it, I don't know. If they do it before the Rumble or at the Rumble, I think by Royal Rumble, Trick and Obafemi both are on the main roster. That's my thoughts.
The Royal Rumble is an interesting thing because we've had a lot of people that's been out for a considerable amount of time now, and I feel like the Rumble is going to have a lot of returns. Um, I feel like a Dragunov could be coming back at the Rumble. Bianca,
I could see that.
Bianca, Liv Morgan. I know there's been rumors about your fellow Canadian returning to the E. Chris Jericho. What are your thoughts on that before we wrap up?
You know what? If he's coming back as Y2J, I wouldn't mind. I think it's a good thing. But if he's trying to do the same type of gimmick he was doing in AEW, I wouldn't want it. Like, the only way I'd want Jericho back in WWE is if it's the Y2J gimmick.
I've heard some other people say they want him to do something different if he does come back. It's interesting to see what he will do if he does return, because WWE did not shy away from saying Jericho's name at Crown Jewel. And I mean, they also said Edge's name in the past, but they sometimes they like to tiptoe around saying a person's name.
Yeah.
But I mean, they've said Sasha Banks
Yeah.
before, so I mean, you can take that with a grain of salt. But I think if Jericho ended his career there, it makes sense. I
It
mean,
does. I think the one gimmick that I would really not be a fan
don't
of
say the list.
in WWE, no, the learning tree gimmick. I don't think it worked in AEW, and I definitely don't think it would ever work in WWE.
That's fair. That's fair. If he was going to have to say the list, I was going to have to put you on the list. You don't want to be on the list.
No, you definitely don't. Yeah, the lights go out and all of a sudden you see on the screen the list maker Chris Jericho. It's like, oh god.
But I did like how the other guys will sell not wanting to be on the list. Like they made it seem like it was the worst thing in the
Yeah.
world. Like
Yeah.
I think it was the New Day. I believe it was him and Jericho in the New Day, and they was all
Yeah,
like
yeah, I
tripping
remember
out
that.
about being put on the list. Wrestling, man, it's the little things that if people who don't watch
Yeah.
wrestling, they'd be like, "What? Why do you like this?" But people who watch wrestling, like, "Oh, this is good shit."
Yeah. And there was the New Day, you're right. And then I liked the whole thing with like the Mick Foley. The you just made the list. Well, Jericho, here's the problem. I'm already on your stupid list. I've been on it from the very beginning. I'm the reason you created that stupid list. And Jericho just goes, well, you just made the list again.
Jericho, he's a interesting person. I met him one time, not a great experience, but an interesting person nonetheless.
Yeah, and I noticed the Jericho Cruise stuff now. He's not advertising any AEW talent on the Jericho Cruise this year. So it seems like he's kind of stepping away from inviting AEW talent on the
Um,
cruise.
I did hear Darby, a snippet of Darby Allen, and paraphrasing, but he was asked a question based upon the locker room, and he said it's better now that the cancer is gone. And I've seen people
Yep.
kind of trying to figure out who it is. The only person I can think of that he's talking about is Jericho.
I'm thinking it's Jericho or even Punk because I don't think Punk was well liked in the locker room. I don't think Punk got along with a lot of the people in the locker room. And I think that was the where the Jack Perry stuff came in, the real glass and everything like that.
Yeah, I mean, but Punk's been gone for a while now, though. Yeah,
Almost two
he's been
years.
gone for a while. Like sometimes you just gotta let that shit go. But anyway, is there anything else you would like
Yeah.
to say or anything wrestling related that's been on your mind that you want to talk about before we go?
No, I think we're good. I am like I was interested with TNA. I like some of the stuff they did recently, but I will say that TNA versus NXT Invasion thing or whatever, the Showdown show, I wasn't very impressed with that episode. I know they tried to do an invasion angle, but I think it flopped.
Why you say that?
I think the matches just weren't all that good on the show. The 5-on-5 matches weren't all that good. Like they had an opportunity where they could have had like Joe Hendry and Jordan Grace were the referees for the two matches. They could have very easily had one of the two referees screw over one of the other teams and like there's been a rumor for a while about Hendry joining WWE. They could have had Hendry screw over Team TNA and Team NXT 1. Instead, they did the Trick walked out on Team NXT and Team TNA 1.
Yeah, it was a little weird because you had like NXT guys holding their top titles, but you had like Kalani representing the
Yep.
TNA for the women. It's like I get it, but it's like it's I don't know. I would have if anybody walking out, I would have had maybe Kalani, but
Yep.
that that's neither here nor there. But anyway,
No.
thank you for joining us again.
All
And
right,
again,
man.
if anybody would like to join, please feel free to contact me and let me know, and we will schedule something when we can. But as of now, stay safe, stay blessed, and always remember that dirty Dominic Mysterio is the greatest Mysterio of all time.